we are power at the bar Aboagye so send the latest news any news about from Canada the Bremo and the Bremo show remember if so well like recommend it we subscribe now share notification bell on site to Aboagye send the news about volunteer on site between account first within any Aboagye boy six na make us we Bremo and I know that for years same because my young calling put here audio no same no emu I share papa my young put here audio na ba aside come so asem so
Alfred, I'll try and as much as possible express all my views within the 15 minutes that I have. But for me, I think it's quite amazing. It's amazing how the MPP even tolerates the level of conversations around comments that MPP functionaries make, and the number of days and weeks that the media, the civil society, the Ghanaian people spend to discuss these comments. And I think that if there's anything at all, a lot of commendation should go to the MPP for our level of, embracing some of these commentary, because obviously the same measure is not given to the largest opposition party in this country, the NDC, and I'll give you a lot of examples. You see, the NDC are not learning. They are not learning that the Ghanaian voter has moved on. In fact, since the 2008 elections, a lot of things have changed. We have Ghanaian voters who basically have given us almost a fine split parliament. They gave a political party 1 million votes in an election, and 4 years later, gave them 500,000. We are very sophisticated. We are more enlightened than we were in 1992. And so certain things don't work on us anymore as voters. Why am I saying all of these? I heard Honorable Milan Tevadapoy, and to be very sincere with you, if there's anybody that has enormous experience in this country in terms of our politics and understanding the dynamics, it's him, and there's no doubt about that. But he tries to justify and explain comments by no mean a person than the former president of the country, who has been the commander-in-chief of the Ghana Armed Forces and has so much hold on a lot of institutions of this country. He's explained it, he's expecting us to accept it and believe that whatever explanation he has given to boot for boot and or do or die, it's fine, and so we should embrace it. And then on the flip side, he tries to impugn his own interpretation, understanding to another comment that a member of parliament has made. And that, for me, is where I see the imbalance and all of that. Of course, I heard Professor also speak at all the principles and all the theories. I agree with him, I align with him. But again, he failed to also use the same measure that he's using for Pኢና on all the other political functions. And I think that is where our conversation is flawed. That is where we are missing the point. And at that point, some of us Ghanaians also begin to question the sincerity and the commentary that others are making when it comes to this issue. First of all, Pኢና actually said absolutely nothing wrong.
He said nothing wrong.
Absolutely nothing. Except when you want to place or superimpose your own understanding or interpretation to what he said. Pኢና was speaking to an MPP group, and he says that the economy is gotten very terrible, worse, and at the point when the economy was going down, the opposition party thought that by default, based on the challenges that we were facing, they are automatically coming to power. And that if we look at what has been happening in the past few months, things are improving, things are getting well, the exchange rate is improving, the fuel prices are going down, and so he's very confident that by June, if the IMF support also comes through, a lot of things will stabilize. And then, as a political party, our chances in the elections is going to look even brighter, and the NDC party may collapse. Then he goes on to say, but, then he says, but, and it's a very, very instructive word there. He said, but, if the NDC decides to come into the election 2024 with intimidation, with threats, and foolishness, then we in the MPP will show them that we have the men, and that we will never hand over power to them. You see, the same way Honorable Milan Tevadapoy tries to explain the commentary made by former President Mahama and all the other NDC functionaries. Why are you not accepting the interpretation that Pኢና nch and the MPP is also giving to his commentary? The MPP has explained for the past 1 week that Pኢና nch did not mean violence. Pኢና nch is basically saying that if you decide to come into the election with violence, we are not going to hand over power to you because you bring violence. As a government and as a political party, we hold a fiduciary responsibility or relationship to the people of Ghana to ensure that we protect the democracy. And so the question here is, why is the NDC shouting? Why are they screaming? Is it the case that they intend to come into the election 2024 with violence? Because clearly, if you listen to the context and grammar that Pኢና nch used in Twi, if you don't come into the election with intimidation and violence, the final part of his comment, and I agree with Honorable Nilante when he says we should look at the final comment. The final point of his comment is not activated. It won't be activated. So unless you tell me that you're screaming and you're ranting, it's because you intend to come into the elections with violence and intimidation, then you shouldn't be worried. Again, and after I want you to just note your questions so that I don't lose my line of thought. Again, I hear the NDC speak, and I think they are the last people who should make comments on this.
What do you mean?
I don't mind if Prof is commenting on it. I don't mind if no, people have said it the last time that we are the same industry now. But I don't mind if civil society organizations. I don't mind if civil society organizations are making. Why is my friend? I'm making this point. But the NDC, no, they are the last people to do this. Because let me read something to you, and I'll go to, I think, City FM Online, and I'll quote Honorable Nilante Vadapoi, and I can swear on everything I believe that Honorable Nilante Vadapoi did not mean violence in this statement that he made. He said, and this is City FM, he said, I am not ready to relinquish my seats until God asked me to do so. And the MPP will never have that seat. It has never been their seat. Even in times they won parliamentary, they lost presidential. I will not relinquish my seat. I can swear on everything I believe that Honorable Nilante Vadapoi, when he was making this statement, did not mean violence. How different, for Christ's sake, is this comment from Honorable Pኢና nch's comment that we would never hand over power to the NDC? If Honorable Pኢና nch's comment impugns violence, then of course I would place the same interpretation to what Honorable Nilante Vadapoi said. Let me give you another quote, and I am glad I have 15 minutes so I can use it the way I want. This is former President Mahama, President Mahama speaking. He says, I want to sound a caution that the NDC has a revolutionary roots, and when it comes to unleashing violence, no one can beat us to that. When it comes to, this is the former President Mahama speaking. I never heard anybody. Oh no, I mean, if you can read it all. You can read. But are you? Haven't you?
Read it. So all that he said.
Haven't you in your comments picked the final statement that Pኢና nch made? You see, I am doing this on purpose. I said to show the level of inconsistency, and I'm glad you are saying I should read. You see, in that same vein, when you are commenting on Pኢና nch's statement, you don't pick the final part. We should not do this to ourselves. You see, when I read His Excellency John Mahama's statement, the first trigger is that read everything. Pኢና nch's statement had the preceding comment. It was conditional. It was within a context. But here you are, all the commentary, everything you say, in fact, you barely hear anybody make a comment except for the MPP. And they refer to all the preceding commentary and statements that Honorable Pኢና nch made. All they will say is that he said he will never hand over power.
But I know any someone that to me say, why can't you get my ship and semi personal similar so catch it? We go to me our comment section, you say we break because comment section like the phone, we say, who and Yabra, you submit me, I can be a person at on him. I had a combative so the latest news now news about NTA Padia. I had an Albanian sign news. Remember, if you ever like it, over comment, over subscribe, you know, share the notification bell on side to me, Abosama, and send it the news bar on the side, go to the account first. Within Eddie or being game of Sage, now make a single background.